Good morning, everyone. Salam alaikum. My name is David Maskell, and I'm from Microsoft. And it's a pleasure to be here today presenting to you. So it's a pleasure presenting to you today. As you may see up there on the sign here, Microsoft is one of the education partners for today. So what I planned on doing was to educate you on a couple of things, of course, being an education partner for today. And while I was going through the topic of my, what I was going to present today, you'll see it's probably missing from the agenda because it took me too long to come up with it. So I thought of coming up with something that sounds educational. And putting IT security in a triangle seemed to be a good idea. And then I thought, well, that's a pretty boring topic, really. So I changed it to something a little bit more exciting, at least I think it is anyway. Saying the IT security triangle, because as IT professionals, we're all trying to secure our environments, secure customers' environments maybe. And there's a lot of things that play in that space. So what I thought was I would draw on some of my experience, and that's the last time you're going to hear about Microsoft, by the way. This presentation is definitely not Microsoft specific. This is more an industry standard presentation. So I thought I would just put together some things for the next 25 minutes on what I think about the IT security triangle and the bits and pieces that actually make security something that is part of our everyday lives, especially in organizations today. So for my definition of this, sorry, I'm going to be walking around a bit. I feel very tied to the podium here, which is a bit unfortunate. But my definition is up here, and this is the type of thing that I want to discuss and dive a little bit deeper into today. So what is this triangle thing that I've been mentioning so far? Well, I think it's really this balancing act that security professionals like myself, the other speakers, and yourselves try to achieve in providing secure IT services for employees, executives, customers, partners, and anyone dealing with our people, policies, procedures, or technology. And the past two presentations really help me, at least, in presenting this to you, because I think they all cover some very critical parts of the IT security arena. So, as a further introduction to this, we've heard from a couple of speakers, and we see that there's no real kind of silver bullet. There's no real single thing that's going to help us in our security environments. We have to look at a number of aspects before we embark on our little security journey. And we know it's not a destination. We've heard that from the last couple of speakers as well. Security is not some place we're going to get to and everybody's going to be secure. We will be changing strategies as things come along, as new threats emerge, as new technologies come along. Things are going to change, and we have to adapt to those as we go along. So yes, it's not a destination. As well, I was thinking about how organizations try to achieve security, and security sometimes really impacts on a business. You heard earlier on about the return on investment for security spend. Now, in my opinion, security should not be something that is a real pain to spend money on. I realize that some security stuff is relatively expensive, and definitely from a security services point of view, that's also an expense you need to take into account. However, to get executive sponsorship in organizations, customers, companies like yourselves for security, it needs to be something that is further enabling the business. And generally speaking, that's what I try and do in my everyday life, really, is to see how security can, instead of being, when you present this to a chief security officer or something, he sometimes sees that, okay, security is not going to be, oh, we have to renew this antivirus vendor, we have to deploy this particular type of firewall because the industry says so. This is going to form part of our business strategy going forward. So allowing security really to be an enabler, as I said here, not a hindrance to business. Another thing which people don't really think about when they do start spending on IT security is that some things in IT security and in IT in general force companies to change the way their business actually works. And the most important part of a business is not the security part of it, it's definitely not the IT security part of it. I'm talking about the core part of whatever business you're in, whether it's banking, oil and gas, property maybe, whatever the business is that you're in, this should really support your current business process. Security, IT should not impact the way the way your business model at least works at the end of the day. So these are a couple of things that I want to bring on board today, and this is a little representation of what I see as the IT security triangle. And again, previously you heard balance. Balance is such a great word when it comes to IT security, because it covers all of these things that I've mentioned here. There are a few more, I'm sure. I just wanted to keep it nice and straightforward. But essentially we have three bits and pieces on the outside of our triangle here. Of course, we have people, definitely the most important part of our IT infrastructure, our security infrastructure. We have policies which really define how we work within the bounds of security. And then, of course, the procedures. How do we actually manage what is happening within the environment? How do we take ourselves on the security journey from this beginning state to a more secure environment? So I'm going to drill down into a couple of these things, and we will start with people. So let me ask you a question. Whose business is IT security in an organization? Everyone. Yes, I think somebody said everyone. And they put it really nicely out there on the Ernst & Young stand. They have a really great phrase to describe that security is in fact everyone's business. Okay, right down from people in maintenance in your building maybe, right up to the CEO, chairman. Everyone has a responsibility towards security. Why? Because they are the people up top who drive security policies for adoption in the rest of the organization, and the people at the lower levels within the organization also have a responsibility with regard to who's working in the building. What are these people doing here? And I mention this because I've been involved in a lot of security audits in companies. You may have seen, I'm not sure how many of you maybe came to the Microsoft Tech Ed exhibition. It was held in UAE a couple of months ago. And the one gentleman, Andy Malone, who was presenting on security, said that the easiest way that he found to gain physical access to the building is to wear one of those luminescent overalls. You know, that guys who work on telecoms boxes use and that type of thing. And he was actually demonstrating a case study where he was able to get into an organization just by wearing an overall that made him look like he was an official technician who came to do maintenance on some of the telecommunications infrastructure of a particular company. And this particular thing is very important, so you can see how from top to bottom security is a part of everyday life. It also involves a lot of other things, for example, and I wanted to stress on education. Because the biggest pushback you have from an IT security perspective that I've seen in an environment is from, of course, the end users, the very people that you're trying to protect in your everyday life as a security professional are the people who generally have the most resistance to what you're trying to achieve. And I think the major issue around this is from an educational perspective. People asking, you know, why do I need to change my passwords? I can only remember so many passwords. Why do I have more than one, for example? Why can I not use memory sticks? Why can I not use DVDs? Something like that. I mean, this is all questions that I've heard in my career. And the real end point of this is education. If you simply block somebody from doing something, you're going to feel resistance from this all the way through, until you either change it or unlock it or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, these are the people, the users who you need to support. They need to be educated on security. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time today, but I was going to actually open this up to the floor at the end of the presentation. Companies that allow access to social networking sites. This presentation is about getting you thinking a bit, so maybe just think about this question. We can talk about it a little bit later. But is it a good idea to have access in a company to Facebook where people can really freely share information with hundreds, if not thousands, of other people on the internet? Whether that's links or confidential company data. Should it or should it not be something that users are able to do? And I think that Facebook, Twitter, all of these kind of social networking sites really fall under the Security Administration Department. Should this be something which is allowed or not? I believe that is part of the security environment. Again, we heard this morning about IT staff and whether or not they are going to be certified, a company-sponsored certification, and again the question of retaining these